Okay, it's time to do the season 5 draft. And I know that I haven't been recording for a whole month since the game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. We went over some retirements at the end of that episode. We've got a full off season to go through. I don't know if those are the final cap numbers for this season, but right now it says the max cap is 74 million. A far cry from where it is today, but we're ahead of... Okay, I'm sorry. I don't even know how this is going to be edited, but the smoke alarm went off because I'm cooking chicken in the oven. And the smoke alarm went off mid-recording. So now that's taken care of. The smoke alarm in the kitchen went off. Anyway, and I'm not burning anything. It's just it is the oil that I'm using. It is... even though it's avocado oil, apparently it has a low enough smoke point that it has set the smoke alarm off. Anyway, that aside, we're going into the draft. I think we'll just dive right into the draft, and then we'll go through the whole offseason. We'll do it all in this episode. Also, I have plans to just do a full season sim all in one episode for the next one. So in the next episode, it'll be the full season sim. This is entirely dedicated to the off season. So let's go into that draft. I hope my scouts have sufficiently given me proper information. This draft doesn't really matter. We're just going to begin. I'm just going to go into it, and whatever's on the table, we have, of course, the last pick of round 1. So it doesn't matter. The Blues are picking first overall. I don't have any trades that I want to propose. So I'm just going to shut down the phones. If we do any trades, we can do them in the off season, and we can also do a trade right at the start of the season if I think there's a position we can get better in. Because we're going to be losing Mike Camilleri. I'm letting him go to free agency. He's 35 years old. I don't want to deal with a potential drop-off on Mike Camilleri, our wonderful center of the entire, to this point in the GM mode, has been our first-line center. I got to let him go. He should have just retired, I think. You get right off into the sunset with your Stanley Cup. But at any rate, we're going into the draft now. I'm just going to look at what's available. Best potential player, I think, available based on what my scouts have told me. So this is sorted by potential. And, I mean, it's a very late first-round pick. So, I mean, I think we might as well just take this Maltby guy. Yeah, wow, 6'3", 209, not too bad. And look at that. He's out of the WHL playing with the Calgary Hitmen. So he will stay in Calgary as he'll stay in Calgary in terms of as an NHL organization. Since we're going to take him, we're just going to take him. So Maltby, welcome to the Calgary Flames. We'll find out more about that guy in the contract screen in the offseason. And we don't have a second round pick. So I'm guessing we sent that to the Islanders. I don't remember if we did that, but anyway, I don't care about not having a second round pick. Shut down the phones. The draft at this point in the GM mode does not matter. That being said, I'm just going to quick sim here. So there's who was taken in round number 2. I do think what I'm going to do is, wow, we don't have a third round pick either. We definitely traded that. I don't remember trading my second, but I can't even remember all the trades that I've made. But at any rate, I think I'm going to continue to sim beyond Season 5 because I want to see what becomes of some of the players on this team and some of the young players. So now we're at the 4th round, and we have a late 4th round pick. So this pick is not going to really matter. I think we just I'm going to take a chance on this defenseman, 6'4", 210. I'll take a chance on him. Grolo, I guess is the pronunciation. And at this point, you can probably just auto-sim the whole draft. And I think that's probably the best thing to do is auto-draft at this point. We're in round 5. I'm going to let the computer figure that out. There's round 7. There's round 6. We pick Kaspar. There's Spurgeon for us in round 5 and all the picks in round 5. Round 4, 3, 2, and there's round 1, and your first overall pick is Hentonen with the Blues, so I would like to check that out. They had a first overall and a 4th overall in this round, and they had a 26th overall. So quite the entry draft for the Blues, as long as it is a strong draft. But we'll have to check out the Blues and Hintonen. But I also want to see Maltby and see what Maltby is going to potentially be. Okay, so we have 3 players that are about to become RFAs, Seeloff and Mrazek. Mrazek needs to come back. And I guess we'll sign Seeloff. We'll figure that out in a second when we go to the contract screen. Or Maltby, I'm sorry. Oh, Maltby. He's 3.5, 18 years old, 68 overall already. And I mean, you can go ahead and put him in the AHL. Well, he's coming out of the CHL. He's 18, so he could play in the A. But he might go back to the C, and he might be better off going back to the C. I don't think there's anything wrong with him playing back in the WHL for another season, but look at that skating ability. He's a really good skater. And the Blues draft 20-year-old, wow, a 20-year-old Hintonen, of course, a Finnish player, Finnish defenseman, and he... Does it tell you what league he played in? I don't know. First overall pick, obviously, 2017 draft. And a 3.5 green star potential. That's not crazy, actually. And he's only 57 overall at 20. I don't know if that's a great pick for the Blues. Who else? Who was their other pick? Their 4th overall pick might be better than that. Oh, and they had the 1st overall pick, Kubalik, in the 2016 draft. A 78 overall. So this guy looks more like a stud. What's his potential? Is it? Yeah, oh, man. Kubalik. Milan Kubalik. So we got to contest with that out here in the West. Another player to pay attention to there. Okay, quite a few UFA conversations to be had here. And Mike Camilleri, I'm sorry, but we got to release you. Thank you. I salute you for your services to aid us in winning that Stanley Cup. Released to free agents, though. He's a free agent. He's gone. Steve Ott, you're a free agent. You're gone. He's 34 years of age. And he was very solid for us. Now, Wideman, if he wants 1 year, 3 years. What if I do 1 year for Dennis Wideman, but I pay him a little bit more money to come back for 1 year? So, what about 3.7? Would that do it for you? 3.7 for 1 year. We still got Aaron Ekblad on that entry-level deal, so that's going to save us a lot of money with Ekblad on the entry level. Paille, 33. Would it be a cheap deal? Oh, Paille would be cheap, and he could play in the AHL at worst, so I'm going to definitely do that. I'm going to get some of these contracts out of the way. Maxime Lapierre, again, call-up option, and down in the A, that's a little bit of money for an AHLer, but he could play on the 4th line should we need him. And then Stahlberg, definitely going to bring back Stahlberg, hopefully 1 year. Okay, 2 years. What about if I go 1 year but pay him more money? 1 year, 2.3. Try not to throw too much money at some of these players. I got to still be smart about my money, even though we're going to be saving a lot of money with Mike Camilleri off the boards in terms of contracts. Pouliot, I'm going to bring him back 1 year. That saves you money bringing Pouliot back. I know he's just 79, but he's also only 30 years old. That's not too bad. Diaz in the AHL. Yep, that's an easy one for me. AHLer. Chris Butler, AHLer. He'll play down there with Diaz. Those are call-up opportunities, so I don't really have to go sign a AHLD I don't have to go sign a D for the AHL. Sorry, my brain is just all over the place. Emerton, 1 year deal, please, or a cheap contract. I can do that. I can do that easily, and he can play on the 4th line this season. Paul Byron, AHL, sure. I just need to fill out an AHL roster. Remember, I don't care too much about the A or developing players down there because this is not a long-term GM mode. So I'm not totally committed to that. Sevior, I'm going to try to bring back as much of our Cup team as possible. So we'll just offer Sevior that. Akeem Alou. Sure, you can play in the AHL 1 more season. Just save us some easy money. Minor league deals for some of these guys. Banks, sure. Oh, wait, is Sean Monahan on a deal, or is he an RFA? He might be an RFA. These are all UFAs. I want to get these guys taken care of. Kandari's been around for a while. I'm just going to sign a different AHLD. Or maybe I could just sign Kandari to just a minor league contract for another season, and he could just be serviceable for, I think it's Stockton is the AHL team. Same thing, Radke. So many contracts to negotiate, so many unrestricted free agents, and just these guys will fill out our roster down there. So let me just handle all this, and I'll probably get back to where we get to a more serious contract negotiation. Okay, Bring it back in here. Sean Monahan still on that ELC. Looks like he's an AHL player right now, so he has not really grown. I guess we got to sim through the whole offseason. Ekblad on an entry-level deal, 87 overall. That's saving us so much money with him being on an ELC. Marcus Granlund, who got injured, and I think it was it Granlund or was it? No, it was Kempe. I'm sorry. He did get injured in the playoffs. It was Kempe that was not part of the Stanley Cup celebration. He was not able to play in Game 7. Then Laxo, you can stick around. Kempe, you can stick around. Hopefully stay healthy this year. Brandon Saad's still here after we traded for him. Brouwer, I'm fine with that. Baertschi, just try not to get too old. Giordano's only 33 and on a decent contract. Callahan can stick around. So we just need to, priority for me going into free agency is we just need to get we primarily need to get a center. And if we have to trade for a top line center, because we did lose Camilleri, I will trade for a top line center if I have to. Now I'm going to go back to my goaltenders. I want to take a look at my goaltending situation. Svedberg, that's fine with me. Just bringing back 1 year. Absolutely. That's good for me. Watch, there's going to be a really good backup goalie in free agency. But now Mrazek, he wants a new deal. 3, you're a Stanley Cup winning goaltender. I'm going to go a little bit higher. Get this guy locked up. I want Mrazek 3 years at 5.65. 660. How about that? I'll do that. Okay, Sateri is our AHL goalie. Did we draft this guy? How did we get this guy? No, he was drafted by the Sharks. How did we get Sateri? Did I sign him? He is 82 overall, dude. I think Sateri is backing up Mrazek this season, bro. I didn't even realize that, and he's on an entry-level contract, 82 years old, same age as Svedberg. I think Svedberg is your AHL goaltender. So we got 1, 2, 3 right now, and I just need another goalie for the AHL. So I'm gonna go get a mid-70s goaltender for the AHL to back up Svedberg. So that's my goaltending situation figured out. Wow, 20 different contracts. Are they all good? Paille, you're good. Weidman, good. Butler, good. Stallberg, good. Emerton, good. Diaz, good. Pouliot, good. Those are AHLers. Byron, AHLer, good. Alou, good. Banks, good. Patterson, good. I don't even remember offering you a contract, to be honest. Kandari's good. Hanowski, good. Radke, good. Mrazek's done, so we got that contract done. That's really, really important for me to get Mrazek back. Stanley Cup winning goaltender in this game world, of course. Svedberg, AHLer now. We have officially found out he's an AHL goaltender. It's Colton Sevior, important part of the bottom 6 of the Stanley Cup team. Maxime Lapierre, AHL squad. And Seelov could be playing in the NHL this season. It was really tough. I didn't know if I would get Weidman back, but it all was predetermined by his age. So if Weidman was older than he is, probably wouldn't be coming back on the team. So I'm going to have to go over my roster. We need an AHL goaltender. That's not hard to do. And I know that let's go by defenseman because that's a really big one. So defenseman, how many under contract right now? So in the NHL under contract, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 NHLers under contract. Seeloff may have to go play in the A. Or maybe he's trade bait in a trade because we've got a few too many defensemen, but he would be a fantastic call-up. And he's not going to like it. Seeloff's 23. He's really young. You might send Weidman down, but then again, I like Weidman, key piece of the Stanley Cup team. I got a tough decision to make here with defensemen because I like Laxo, but look at this. 4 gold star potential, man. What do we do? Do you sit Weidman in case of an injury? I think you sit Weidman. He's 34. He's a healthy extra. I think that's the way we got to go with it. Weidman at $3.7 million healthy extra for this team. And your defense core is Girardi and Giordano. That's your first pair. Peckham can play on the middle pair, I guess, along with Ekblad and Peckham or something. Or Ekblad and Laxo, and then you've got your other 2 defensemen or Seeloff on the third pair, I guess, or something like that. Ekblad's second pair. Holy crap, Ekblad might be first pair. I don't know what to do with this. We have to figure out the defense core, but we're locked up on defensemen, so we're good there. That's the main thing, is we're good on defensemen. I'll figure out the pairings at a different point in in time. Future me can worry about defense pairings. So Callahan on the wing. I wish I could sort this. Well, we can look at forwards. Let's not worry about position-wise. Let's just look at forwards. So under contract, do we have 12 forwards under contract? We don't, because we don't have Camilleri. I always get the names mixed up. But there's Ryan Callahan. So that's 1, 2 with Berchi. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I think that's about it. 9 guaranteed NHL for, well, you know what? 10 with Paille. I liked Paille, but man, 77, was he that low rated in the on the team? And Pouliot, I think we just need like one forward. We need, at a minimum, at an absolute minimum, we need a top line center. And if we have to trade for that center and move a roster player, a couple of roster players, I'm willing to do what it takes to go get a top line center. So if you're paying attention and you're following along, I'm willing to move like maybe Brandon Saad and, let me go back to defenseman, maybe Seeloff or one of these extra defensemen, or maybe we move Weidman in a trade because 34 years old. I mean, I know I just signed him, but you could maybe move one of those players, combine him in a deal with Brandon Saad, 24 years old, 81 overall, or you can move one of these other forwards that are maybe a lesser forward out. I was thinking like maybe, let me go back down. Hold on, just bear with me. Like Paille or Pouliot, you move one of those guys in a trade along with a defenseman, and you throw maybe a first or a second round draft pick in there and get a top line center. Now, they're not going to, I think, at least a top 6 center. It doesn't have to be a first line center, but if we can find a team that's willing to trade with us one of their first or second line centers, we got to get a center. So that's something to explore in the offseason. Now, we haven't even reached free agency yet. We're at, actually, if I go to free agency, what is this? Oh, this is, upcoming free agents? Subban! Oh, man, could you imagine? He's going to get paid. Now, I want to point something out before we go into the free agency period. I'm assuming that we have an owner that is willing to let us spin to the cap every time I do free agency. So we can, if we have the cap space, we can go after, I didn't even know this was a screen, by the way, the future free agents. But I'm assuming that as long as we have the cap space, we can spin to the cap and we can go after big fish free agents in free agency. So I intend to sign a top level player if they're available in free agency. If not, we have to go through the trade route to get that top line center. Okay, who's available? Camilleri wants 7.5 and Sharp wants 8 million. Wow, and this is with the cap going up. They want more money too. And there is not a top line center available. And these 35-year-olds want these crazy, they want a payday, basically. I'm sorry, Camilleri. That dude could fall off. There's 2 teams interested. Can I see who they are? Who's interested in Camilleri? Well, if I click on this, I think it will tell me. Detroit and Philadelphia looking to sign him. That's in the East. Not worried about that. Likewise for Patrick Sharp, who's looking to sign him. No teams interested at this moment. 8.2 for that is kind of crazy. So no top line centers available. We might get a depth center here. I might sign a depth wing or something. We went the Steve Ott, the Mike Fisher route. Someone's interested in Steve Ott, Rangers and Sharks. Yeah, the Sharks would be interested in Steve Ott after we absolutely bounced them in the first round. So I might try to pick up, we could bring David Jones back and go back to this guy. Does it tell you where he played the last few seasons? Well, we can see what he's done the last few seasons. He's played 82 games, just a depth wing, because we're going to have to move a piece out in order to get a piece. So I may go ahead in free agency and make a signing of a couple of wings, and we can just trade a piece out, a couple of pieces out, get a top line center, see what's available on the trade market. So since we're here in free agency, also what's available in terms of goaltenders. Enroth. So nothing really all that spectacular in free agency regarding goaltenders. I just want to get, like a 70-something overall. We'll get, how about Marek Mazanik? Just somebody that can back up the AHL team. So we'll just give him a contract offer. And what was I looking at? I was looking at forwards. So we want a wing. I'm really thinking, how old is David Moss? Okay, he's 35, so not that. We need someone that's like a little older. Desharnais is available. I guess he could play on the wing. His shooting's pretty decent, and he could play on the wing. He's a playmaker. What's his passing? Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to give David Desharnais a shot. He wants 2 years. That's fine by me. It's not too bad of a deal. $2.5 million. And how much cap space we got? 17.8 million in cap space. Are you kidding me? So I'm just gonna play it safe and trade for this guy. He can play the center position as well. So we'll just go ahead and send that to David Desharnais. And I guess it couldn't hurt to go ahead and try to get an extra, maybe a healthy scratch option on the wing. So if I can find someone that would make sense, Klitzum. Just for the name alone, we should sign that guy. Ville Leno, who was a big piece of the Sabres Stanley Cup final run. He could join the other side of that Stanley Cup final if we go after him. Sergei Kostitsyn. What is he? Is he Belarusian? Is that what he is? We could sign the Nashville Predators legend from the season mode we did with... I'm going to sign him. I got to go get Kostitsyn. Sergei Kostitsyn, welcome to the Flames. Please sign. And now that makes it even easier for me to go out and make a trade. I'm going to have to call it here because the chicken's going to be ready right now. So I got to call it here. We'll have to resume with that trade. So that's going to be the first part. We'll have to do part 2 in a second episode. Okay, so picking up where I last left off, because I've had to record this in parts, and most of this off season will probably be done in parts because I just don't have time to do this all in one sitting. But that doesn't affect the actual video. It will just be edited together properly. So continuing where I left off in free agency, we offered a few contracts. We're going to advance the day, and we'll, of course, figure out what happens with the likes of Camilleri, Sharp, Silverberg, some of the top free agents in this year's free agent class. A bit of an older free agent class. We have not heard anything back from Desharnais or from Kostitsyn. I'm still waiting to hear back if Kostitsyn will sign. I'm going to give it a few days. They'll probably want to take a few days before they officially get back to me. Now, it's shocking that Mazanik hasn't said anything yet because he's probably not going to get anyone biting, but there's Desharnais. He has signed. He has accepted. Kostitsyn has accepted, and Mazanik has accepted. So there's our AHL goaltender. So that's just all that I wanted to do for this offseason. There's just nothing else for me to go after right now. And I got the 2 players that I think will fill out our roster appropriately. I'm really happy with signing Kostitsyn because if we make the playoffs, is that Killorn? Yeah, that's Alex Killorn, man. It's 79 overall, though. I think he should be higher than that, especially at this point. I mean, Killorn's been a top player for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then there's Marcus Kruger, Blackhawk, member of those championship Blackhawks teams. So there's some depth here. There's plenty of depth available in free agency right now. But I'm happy with what we've gotten so far. And I think if we do need that top line center, I think we just go and get that done in a trade. Okay, cut it back in because I didn't know I could negotiate trades during free agency. I just didn't know if I could do that or not. But I have a trade for you. I have a very interesting trade for you. You may have figured it out already. When I back out of the screen, you're going to see the proposal. Ready? Here it is. Okay, so let me explain. This is Tyler Seguin, insane trade value. Where's that screen? Let me pull that up again. So look at T-Sags. Tyler Seguin has the most trade value of any forward except for Lucic. Seguin, let me explain this first. So how do I sort this by centers? Boston has an embarrassment of riches at center. They have this Baye kid, 21 years old, 78 overall, pretty good trade value, more than Krejci. Krejci is 31, 86. Then I assume this is Jake Evans, the guy from the real world that plays for Montreal, 79. It's pretty decent. You've got Bergeron. You got Krejci. There's your first and second line centers. Boston would be fine moving on from Seguin. They would free up $5.2 million in this deal in salary. They'd be taking on another contract, so it wouldn't truly be 5.2, but they would be moving on from that contract. This I'm just trying to explain why this makes sense from a Boston perspective. Embarrassment of riches at center. They without Seguin, they still got 1, 2, 3, 4 good centers here. They have a good team at center. They're pretty deep. And then let's see what else they got on the wings. Let me show this by wings. Okay. They still got Lucic, Marchand, Fortier, Booth, pretty decent on the wing. A little bit not as deep on the right wing, but they've got a good enough team, and it's free agency, so they can still go out and get some depth if they move on from Seguin. They're going to be getting something back, and I'm also going to be sending them a couple of players. So let me back out and show the proposal. So I could send them a young Sean Monahan. So Sean Monahan has not grown as quickly as I thought he would. 4.5 gold star potential. You can see the stats for yourself here. And he's 22. When did we draft him? 2013, 6th overall. Just hasn't quite gotten there yet. He's only 22 years of age, but he hasn't quite seen that bump in growth that I was hoping for. So they'd be getting something good back in Monahan. A good young potential center, not quite NHL ready, but he will. And when he is ready, he will be ready. So they would get a good center for the future. Then they want Weidman. So they don't want Monahan, but it would give them that center to replace, goodness gracious, Seguin. My brain can't think right now. So Weidman, an older defenseman, we just don't have room for all these freaking defensemen. We could keep Weidman around as a healthy extra, but I can just go get a depth defenseman as a healthy extra instead of paying Weidman $3.7 million as an 83 overall. And how old is he again? 34 years of age. To be a healthy scratch. I mean, we could just send him to Boston and they could use that. I didn't pay attention to their D, but they could probably, I'm going to assume they could probably use a defenseman. They have Hamilton, Seidenberg, Boychuk, Krug. Yeah, they could use another good defenseman. So this would make sense for them to get Weidman. They definitely want that, and it makes sense why they want Weidman. I'd be giving them this year's first, so the upcoming first in the next draft, and the second round pick after that. So what we've got left in draft picks, giving them the first. This coming year, we don't have a second either, so we won't have a pick until the third round. But again, I can kind of trade draft picks a bit aimlessly in this GM mode because drafting doesn't really matter because this isn't a long-term GM mode. And I feel like in order to get Seguin, you're going to have to give something to get something, so you're going to have to give up some draft picks. And hopefully that first is a late first-round pick, and it really doesn't matter because most of the prospects, unless they're just a high first overall pick or first-round pick, probably not going to really pan out at the NHL level. So probably not giving up too much there. And then I was thinking this: we throw them our first-round pick from this year. So I know we drafted Maltby this year at 30th overall. 30th overall, first round in this year's most recent draft we did in this episode. We could just trade Maltby, or I could hold on to Maltby because he's still got some potential. He's a good skater. My other thought is, let's see, skaters matching the block. Do they want Brandon Saad or someone of that nature? They want LaPierre? They want Paille. Ooh, they want Paille. What is Paille? I'm curious. Do you think Paille's trade value is not very high? Anyone else? Yeah, I think I'm just going to send him Paille instead of the prospect. Paille is NHL ready right now, and they really need help on the wing. So I think it makes more sense to send them the player that they want and would help them right now. Now, Paille he's a fourth line, 77 overall, fourth line, whatever the hell he is, two-way forward. He would help Boston out on the wing. I mean, and he would end up going right back to Boston, wouldn't he? Isn't he a former Bruin? Very helpful on our Stanley Cup run, but he could help out the Bruins' fourth line, and this trade would be approved. So they'd be saving a little bit of money. They'd be taking on Weidman's contract, but we'd be taking on Sagan's $5.230 million. How many years left, by the way, on Seguin? Can I see that? 2 years left. So we get a guaranteed 2 years of an 89 overall playmaking center, Tyler Seguin. Here goes the proposal. Will this go through? Will the Bruins accept this behemoth of a trade? It is done. It is a done deal. Tyler Seguin, welcome to the Calgary Flames. What a huge off-season acquisition. That was fun. And I think that was a very realistic trade. It helps both sides out. It helps us in the now, the here and the now. It helps Boston, who I believe is a rebuilder. It helps them get younger, which is what you want to do when you're rebuilding. Seguin can get off that rebuilding Bruins team, and he can join a team that is ready to contend right now. How about that? The new look Calgary Flames with Tyler Seguin at center. Oh, that is tasty. Delicious to my eyeballs. And I know that eyeballs typically cannot taste, but mine can right now, and it is wonderful. So back in the free agency, I do need a depth defenseman, so I guess we can go after Klitzum. I'm just the name. It's for the or Adam McQuaid, former Bruin there. But you know, I just 2 years. What if you want 1 year? How much cap space we got? How much cap space? Oh, I got ton of cap space. I just want this guy 1 year, healthy scratch, 2 point. I'll throw. He doesn't have any teams interested, but I'll throw him a bone for taking just 1 year, and we'll just pay him pretty well. I'll pay you handsomely at $2.8 million over your asking price of $2.6, and you can just be a depth option. Healthy scratch, Grant Klitzum for the Calgary Flames. All right, Klitzum, don't waste my time here, buddy, and sign quickly, so that I know that I have my my depth option at D, because I did move on from Weidman. And I would love, I have plenty of cap space, so I can definitely do that. And he accepts, and that's just very pleasant for me right now. I have plenty of depth. And look at the cap space we've got. We've got so much cap space available. So when it comes time to re-sign, you know, I definitely want to do a few more seasons of this GM mode. Now that we have Seguin. I don't think I made that trade for Seguin to just call it quits after 5 seasons, even though the initial timeline was win a Stanley Cup within 5 seasons. That goal has been accomplished, so I think we're going to continue this beyond season 5. I have to at this point, right? I'm too invested. Flames making a solid push to win it all this year by signing free agent Grant Klitzum. Yeah, that's why I signed that guy. Not to be a healthy scratch or anything like that. So we're going to be operating at $10 million, 10.1 to be exact, 10.195 to be exact, over the salary cap for the upcoming season. But like I said, in terms of money flexibility, that's going to allow us to be able to hand out a big contract to Seguin or anyone that needs to be re-signed. Like we're gonna have to sign Aaron Ekblad to a big contract, and he's making entry-level contract money this season. So think about that. We do have Aaron Ekblad that's going to need to be signed next offseason, and we're going to need that available cap space to make that signing. Granted, we can move on from some of the contracts that are currently on the books for us right now for this season. We can figure all that out, but I am making a push to win it all right now. Okay, 5th year in, and the owner wants 38 wins for the team this year. Well, I think I should be here for life. I just brought you a Stanley Cup. The city of Calgary hasn't seen a Stanley Cup since 1989. I should have the key to the city right now. Okay, I got to do the scouting assignment stuff again, and I'm just going to do it because it's still worth my time. I don't know. What do we think here? Any top 10 there as a defenseman? I don't think we'll be picking. Well, at least my intention is to not have to pick in the top 10. So we can look through here. OHL, there's a top 10. Q, nope, nothing coming out of the Q. Nothing coming out of the Americans. Nothing there. I think we'll just scout the WHL. Might be a weak draft. Ooh, look at that. Madagozin. What an awesome name. So I think we'll scout the WHL for 6 weeks to start. Just scout those defensemen, and that's just defensemen. I didn't even look at the other positions. But anyway, there's your defense. Just go scout that for 6 weeks, or actually make it 5 weeks. Oh, almost a perfect preseason. The Canucks had to ruin it in overtime or a shootout. Is that a good or a bad omen going into the regular season? How about Seguin? 4 goals in the preseason. Just preseason, but not too bad. I'm going to stop the simulation right there because I got to figure out my roster. So this is the way the team looks. This will be the very end of the video here. We're about to cut it. But this is the way the team looks going in. Seguin on the first line. I can't get over that. That looks amazing. Seguin, Callahan, and Berchi. No longer Camilleri there. Seguin is a huge upgrade over Camilleri. Sorry, Camilleri. You are in my heart forever. And he's playing on some team somewhere. We will find out what team he signed with in a little bit. Then Granlund, Kostitsin, Saad. Kostitsin being in there is so much fun. I had a lot of fun with this guy in the Predators season mode, so he's back on my squad again, this time with Calgary. I got to do jersey numbers too. I got to remember to do jersey numbers. So we still just got that decent depth, an amazing top line, and then just depth. I mean, we're a deep team. LaPierre, Sevior, I don't mind that. And I think LaPierre was serving time in the AHL last season. I could have gone out and got a depth center, but LaPierre on the fourth line won't be playing a ton throughout the season. Do we have any healthy scratches that I should note? Anyone that's a healthy scratch? It should be, oh, it looks like Emerton. You know what? Emerton was our Stanley Cup genius on the bottom six. I'm going to put Emerton in there, and I got to find, oh boy, where is he? There's LaPierre. I got to scratch LaPierre. So Corey Emerton, your fourth line center. Love that guy in the playoff run. So he's going to be playing with LaPierre as the healthy scratch. That's why I look at these lines, just to make sure that anything needs changing. The defense, I don't know that it needs any changing, except for someone is a healthy extra on D. And I don't know who it is. Once again, I asked the game, where the hell is Aaron Ekblad? There he is. This is why I check the rosters before I frickin' go into the regular season, and everything has to be finalized ahead of opening night. So we're just going to do a little transaction here. Ekblad, you're called up. And I don't know if we're over the roster limit. I actually think Hanowski should he be in the NHL with that overall rating? 82 on the wing? I mean, let's see. Let me back out of this real fast, because you got Emerton, Sevior. No, I think Hanowski, he's a call-up. He can play. What is Hanowski listed as? Sorry, I got to go to roster moves to see that again. Hanowski switched to the AHL team. Sort it. Hanowski just says two-way forward. It doesn't tell me if he's a fourth line. I mean, 82 overall. I think that's his role right there. His role is right there. Depth forward. Well, that works for me. He can play on the top line in the A, which I think is, if I pull this up again, is that Abbotsford? Is that where the team is? Abbotsford? At one point, it was Stockton. I know that. Stockton Heat was the team. I guess they moved to Abbotsford. But that history, I don't really care about right now. So I should have the full squad that I want now. The difference is, Klitzum was signed. Love the name. Klitzum was signed to be a healthy extra. So this is where things get interesting. Scratch him and put Ekblad in. I don't know why Ekblad was in the freaking A to start. Look at him. He's 87 overall. So the way this is going to shake out, Ekblad is top line ready. I'm pretty sure. If I go back, I want to see, let me do roster moves, because this is going to tell me Ekblad's role. And I got to sort this by defenseman. Kind of annoying. This game's a little bit slow. So Ekblad's role is top four. So as long as Ekblad plays in the top four, he's going to perform. So is it the same thing with Girardi? Yeah, just top four. So I think Ekblad is ready to play on the top pair with Mark Giordano, the captain. So we'll do that. And then Girardi can play. Laxo and Peckham were the pairing in the playoffs, so we can do that. Girardi and Seeloff on the second pairing. That works out for me. Then we'll have to just figure out the power play and the penalty kill and all of that good stuff. So it doesn't change for me on the power play other than I want, whoops, sorry, wrong button. Other than I want one-timers. So Berchi is a left shot, is he not? Left shot, I should know this from playing with this team. And then Callahan he's a right-handed shot. So I think you have the one-timers on the wings with Sagan. I'm so confused. We definitely, hold on, let me do this. So I think we're going to have all defensemen on the point. I want to have Aaron Ekblad up there on the power play because he's an offensive defenseman, isn't he? No, he's a two-way. Never mind. But Ekblad has that shot. Has his accuracy gotten any better? It's gotten a little bit better. See the power? 99 wrist shot power, man. I think you got to have that on the point. I just think you got to have that power on the point. That big bomb on the umbrella setup on the power play. But then Kostitsyn, Desharnais. I don't know. Let me go back to my line. So who would make sense at center on the power play? Yeah, I guess Desharnais makes a lot of sense at center. So you can have your second power play unit could be, yeah, Desharnais, Kostitsyn, and Granlund. That makes a lot of sense. Your snipers, and that's what the game has done. I'm going to agree with that. Now, do we have... Girardi's a defensive defenseman, but his passing, it's pretty good, 85. But do we have a forward that would make sense as a puck distributor from the point? Maybe Emerton? No, I guess. Okay, this is crazy. The grinder Kempe has 87 passing, 90 hand-eye. His puck skills are insane. He's got good defense. Kempe's going to man the point on the power play instead of Girardi. I'm going to try that. Where's Kempe? He would make a lot of sense as the point man. And his skating category is very weak, though. He's a very weak skater, but I don't really care. Just get out there on the power play, make things happen. So that'll be the power play to start the season. I don't want to deviate from this if this works. I hope this works. So then you got your 4-man power play is just basically Seguin with... I'm going to go Seguin with Baertschi, Desharnais with... who's on the wing with those guys? Baertschi, Seguin, and... oh, man. Callahan, right? Yeah, Callahan out there on the power play with Desharnais. That works for me. And the only thing I want to change is I want to get Ekblad. So Ekblad there. Penalty kill. I'm guessing Ekblad makes sense because he's 87, so his defense category should be great. And it is. So Aaron Ekblad, you're killing penalties this year. I don't know if that was the case last season. Seguin can win the faceoffs. Well, actually, he's 77 faceoffs, but anyway, what was the rest of that defense category? Oh, it's great. Sagan's a penalty killer for sure. Callahan is a penalty killer for sure. Desharnais, if he's got a good face-off ability, it's not great. That's tough. Now I got to try and find someone that can win some face-offs on the penalty kill. So that would be not Emerton. You're certainly not the guy. We have anyone that can win face-offs? I bet you Baertschi has a better face-off category. He doesn't. I take that back. Kempe? Can you take face-offs, Kempe? No, I mean, it's very close to what whoever's in there. Ståhlberg? Nope. Terrible face-off rating. Okay, this is going to be tough. I need someone that can win face-offs. I really need someone that can win. I may just have to stick with what I've got. Granlund? Did we look at Granlund? I don't remember if I looked at Granlund. Emerton, I don't know if Emerton is the guy. It may just have to be... who was already in there? Was it Granlund that was already in there? Well, I think Marcus Granlund's going to be your face-off taker on the penalty kill, and we're just going to have to live with that. So, Girardi, Giordano's, what is his defense category? It's okay. It's pretty good. Okay, I can do with that. That's your PK. 3-man PK. That's good. 3-man PK to take Laxo off and give me Ekblad. 4-on-4. Well, that's going to be just the same. It's going to be Ekblad up there. There we go. I like Seguin and Baertschi. Granlund and Callahan. That's okay. Desharnais with Kostitsyn, and then we need to use... oh, who was the defenseman that I took out? It was Laxo. I don't know how much 4-on-4 we'll see, but I'm not worried about it. So Seguin and Girardi. Well, I'm going to take Seguin off as the extra attacker. I'm going to make the extra attacker like Kempe or something. Because that first line is going to be on the ice, so your extra attacker should be like Kempe or something. Goalies. Okay. Svedberg. Okay. It was supposed to be the other guy, but I'm guessing the game has Svedberg up instead. So I got to do a roster move for goaltenders. It's a good thing I looked at that too, because I forgot about the goaltending situation I have. So Svedberg, you're going to go down. I know that. Can I call Sateri up and send Svedberg down? There we go. So Sateri is going to back up Mrazek and learn a lot this season, although he is 27 years old, the same age as Mrazek. But he's ready to be a backup goaltender. So there you go. There's your goaltending combination for this season. And shootout lineup. I mean, not Laxo for sure. anyone that can shoot. So basically, I'm fine with this. Granlund, Sagan, Baertschi, Callahan. I actually want... I'll keep it this way. I'll keep it where it is. Laxo in there. But I think if you're going to give it to anyone, it's got to be... Yeah, it's got to be Granlund. What's his puck skills? Oh, yes. Granlund in the shootout, definitely. And swap him with Callahan, actually. So there's your shootout lineup. And, of course, jersey numbers. Most of this stays the same. Brouwer, Callahan, Klitzum. I don't even know what to do here. Number... I don't even know what he wore in Winnipeg. He wore 24, which is taken. I'm just going to give... What's a good defenseman number? 44. How about that? Desharnais, 51. Okay. Ekblad, number 8. Okay, Ekblad's number's changing. He's wearing number 10. So he wears number 5, but that's taken by Giordano, the captain. So we're just going to double up on 5 and make it 10. How about that? I like that a lot. Ekblad, number 10. Girardi, 6. That stays the same. Granlund, did he wear 11? What did he wear? I thought he wore like 23 or something like that. Kostitsyn, obviously 74. Kempe, 19. That might change for Kempe. I may... Because someone... Hold on 1 second. Because Mrazek can wear 34 now that Kiprasov is no longer here. But should we just leave it? That's the number he won the cup in. And I guess... you can consider that Kiprasov's numbers should be retired. So I will keep that respect there for Kiprasov. Saad continuing to wear number 22. Sateri, the goaltender, that's fine with me. Colton Sevior, 7. Sagan, oh boy, what does Sagan wear? So in Dallas, Sagan wears 91, but I think he wore 19 in Boston. Here, we could give Sagan the number 91. I have Kempe wearing 19, and that's what we did when we won the cup. I'm just gonna give Sagan number 91 because that's just what I recognize Sagan from Dallas. So he'll just take 91 here. Seeloff, the defenseman, might just give him. I may give him 3. So Seeloff, you can wear 3. And who was it that I said? Granlund, I think, wore 23. I like Granlund wearing 23. I don't know. I just do. I don't know why. Stallberg, 25. That's fine. So there's your whole roster. And, of course, we've got to set the captains. That's the last thing. I think it's clear that it should be Giordano, Callahan, and then I was going to give the A. I guess we'll give it to... Let me see. Let's take it off of Laxo and let's give it to... Where is he? Baertschi. You deserve it. Sven Baertschi deserves to wear the A. I don't remember. It was... So the captain is always Giordano, and then last season the 2 alternates were Callahan and Camilleri. Camilleri's not here anymore to wear the A, and I got to figure out where he went before we close this video off. So there's your captains. So I'm running out of things that I need to go over, and the video is about to wind down, but I want to find out where did Mike Camilleri go. So we'll go through every team's roster real quick. There's the Hurricanes. There's the Blackhawks. I was going to laugh if he did end up in Chicago. Teravainen's ready to play now in Chicago. How about that? He went back this offseason in the real world to Chicago where he began his career. So he is officially ready to play for the Blackhawks down there. Nystrom, former Flame, has signed in Chicago. What about their D? What does their D look like? Still that as nasty as it was last year with Yemelin signed. All right, Chicago looks like they could be a force to be reckoned with again. Colorado Avalanche look like as follows with Patrick Kane. Ridiculous roster in Colorado. How are they not contending for the Stanley Cup? Their defense core as well. Oh my God, unbelievable squad with this Colorado Avalanche team. If they don't make it deep in the playoffs, I will be completely stunned. So Colorado, Columbus Blue Jackets, and their defense core looking like that. I'll go the forward and defense core for all these teams now. So Dallas, I don't see any of our former players signed to Dallas. Here's their defense. Detroit, nope. It's obvious that, Patrick Sharp, the big free agent, signed there. An older Patrick Sharp signed in Detroit. No sign of Mike Camilleri so far. There's the defense pairings. Edmonton still has Taylor Hall. at this point. Taylor Hall is still a member of the Edmonton Oilers. Defensively, that's how they shake out. Florida still has LeCavalier, hasn't dropped off. That's pretty amazing that he hasn't dropped off yet. Was not expecting that. Their defense core as well. If you want to see any of these in greater detail, just pause the video and you can see them in greater detail. I'm going to try to flip through this real fast and just show the entire roster for all of the NHL going into this season. So the Wild and their team, the Canadians. I was going to laugh if Camilleri signed here and went to Montreal. I don't remember. Did he play in Montreal before he played for Calgary, or was that after his career in Calgary? So Shea Weber is still a Nashville Predator. So in this world, of course, the Subban for Weber trade hasn't happened. And Subban is set to become a free agent, or maybe he got signed. I just went past Montreal. Did they sign Subban? Wrong thing. I went through the wrong menu. So Montreal, did they sign Subban? They did sign Subban, it looks like. Or maybe he's an upcoming UFA in the next season. I can't remember. But anyway, at any rate, the New Jersey Devils, still just looking for any names that are familiar to me from Calgary Flames past. So the Islanders, they look like that. Kind of flipping through them. So if I miss a name, I might miss a name. I'm just looking for Camilleri right now. That is the main one. Juuso Ikonen. I remember that guy from a GM mode that I did offline. I didn't record it or anything, but a GM mode I did once upon a time about a decade ago, and that guy was a legend for me in the postseason. So Ottawa, there it is. Mike Camilleri signs alongside Claude Giroux. Wow. That is a really great top line for an older Camilleri. So he's in Philly, he's in the East. That doesn't really affect us too much. And he rejoins forces with Lee Stempniak. And I believe Kyle Brodziak was on our squad at one point. And Yuri Hiller. So Philadelphia is the retirement home for all of these former older Flames players. And their defense looks like that. Coyotes real quick. And remember, the Coyotes took Max Reinhart. I think they offer-sheeted Reinhart, and I didn't get any compensation back for it. So, anyway, who cares? We won the Cup, so clearly it was the right move for us to do. And the Sharks and their defense core looking like that. The Blues. The Lightning. The Toronto Maple Leafs, no Austin Matthews. I should have added a few of the players that we know are really, really good into this. It's crazy. I didn't see Connor McDavid on the Panthers there, but I wasn't really looking for it either. He's on the Florida Panthers in this. That's who drafted McDavid. So we're gonna have to go back and see if I can find Connor McDavid on the Florida Panthers. So let me go back to that real quickly, see if he's finally made the NHL. And that'll round this video out nicely. I don't know how long this is going to be. So no room for McDavid? Wow, that's crazy. Maybe he just hasn't grown yet. So to answer my question about Connor McDavid, 76 overall, now officially in the American Hockey League. This is just wild. What a wild timeline. 20-year-old McDavid hasn't even played an NHL game yet. Now it says 17-18. That's definitely preseason. That's got to be preseason. Yeah, it is preseason because we just had the 17 draft. So he hasn't played a regular season game yet. So these are preseason numbers. So I think that will all get wiped out because I think Sagan has stats still. Does it not? I think Sagan has. Let me go see if our team has stats, and that should be stats from the preseason. So if I find, let me sort this by, I'm in the system. I got to do this. Sort it by best, Sagan. Click on this. Stats. Yes, it has preseason stats. So McDavid played some preseason games, then went back down to the A. So that's just crazy that Florida has not brought McDavid up to play at the NHL level yet. But that's about the end of this video. That's all that I got for this video, except for I do want to see progress reports. I forgot about progress reports, so can't quite close the video out yet. but I do want to see attributes modified. Brouwer got worse. Good news. And Stallberg got worse. Giordano got better. Wow. And did that Stanley Cup run really just make Giordano better? I forgot I got to look at all the things that got modified. So everything that got modified for Giordano, just a little bit of statistical growth. So that playoff run did good things for Giordano and his confidence. What happened to Brouwer? Was it just aging? No, it was just negative statistical growth. So it's not just negative natural growth because he got older. I mean, he's only 32. So I guess Brouwer just didn't have a good season. Probably the same thing for Stallberg. He just got worse because he didn't have the season he was expecting of himself. -3, -3, -4 into stick checking. Rough for Stallberg. Probably should have moved on from Stallberg, but anyway. Peckham got worse. Wow. Yeah, Peckham seeing a bit of a drop off. Again, I guess I need these guys to have really good statistical seasons, and that won't happen. Callahan, it seems like he stayed the same mostly, but he had a little boost in acceleration, so he put some rocket boosters on his skates. And the rest are all unchanged, I guess. Some of these guys I don't know if it would tell me what Kostitsyn was because we signed him. Well, it would, because we have signed guys in free agency and then seen that they've had a drop-off after we accelerated to the preseason. So anyway, that's all the skaters. Now we got to look at goaltenders. Mrazek got worse? How does he get worse after he just had a huge Stanley Cup run and won the Cup and carried the team there as the starting goaltender? It doesn't make any sense to me. Wow, that big trade. There's the transaction from that big trade. And this is all of our this is all of our transactions as they acquire Monahan, Weidman, and 3 others for us to get Sagan. Just for Tyler Sagan, it was totally worth it. Ooh, there was an offer sheet. There was an offer sheet handed out, and Buffalo matched the offer sheet. Very interesting. You wouldn't see this if you didn't scroll through these menu screens. 2 years? They gave him 2 years. Man, that's crazy. I wouldn't hand Camilleri even 1 year at that age. But best of luck to you, Philly. Well, we're sitting here ahead of opening night, which will begin on the road with a home between ourselves and the Phoenix Coyotes. And we'll pick up with that in the next video. That's all I got for you right now. We will pick up in the next one with the season simulation.